Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is Ian and Thomas with you for a very special occasion, and it's certainly not the second time we've recorded this video. Damn you, breaking news! But we are here to talk about the League Cup Final. We are here to talk about two of the super teams in world football, if that's the right way of saying it, taking place in this final. But it is Manchester City versus Tottenham. Without any more fanfare, I think the only way to start it is based on the breaking news that we've had literally today, which is Jose Mourinho is no longer the Tottenham manager, which was a nice little deflection target away from some other bad news that might have been flying around. But that leads me to thinking, and I'll throw it over to Coach Pickering, how on earth have Tottenham got any claim to possibly win this football match without Mourinho, without possibly Kane, to try and drag this video past a time where we could actually monetize it? Tom, what chance do Tottenham have, and how do they plan a route to victory?
Oh, Ian, you know you can't ask me that question. I'll be here for the next 45 minutes discussing like weird, intricate passing.
I just don't see. I just don't see how they got any chance now.
No, they've got absolutely no chance. Without Kane in there, who facilitates Son and Mora or Bale around him and kind of links the midfield and the defense together, and without Jose Mourinho, the master tactician in a cup final, like, it is the weirdest time on earth to fire a man who is probably the best manager on earth at gumming up City's works. He is the only manager that seems to have any real success against Pep with consistency. They have had a rivalry going back ages. It sells itself. To sack him now seems totally nuts. And we'll talk about the Super League maybe at the end of this, but Super League, Kane injury, Jose Mourinho fired, all in the space of less than 24 hours has been really tough to digest. I do not see how Vinicius can lead. It's Vinicius, isn't it? Their backup striker. I can't see how they can win this with him. Personally, if I'm Spurs, I put Bale in as a center forward at this point.
You have to play Gareth Bale.
You have to play, and as a forward with Mora and Son flanking him, and you have to just use his pace, and you almost need Son and Mora coming back to receive the ball, and Bale making diagonal runs through the defenders and trying to pull Stones and Diaz apart. And we saw it in the FA Cup final, how you can't, the FA Cup semi-final, how you can pull Ruben Diaz out, and Ruben Diaz was pulled out of position 3 or 4 times in that match, and quite badly. Like, Chelsea deserved to win by 2 or 3 goals at the end of it because their counter-attacking style and the ability for their wingers... Sorry?
I agree with that, but there's a massive difference between Chelsea flooding forward with the pace and quality they have to Tottenham, especially without Kane, who, let's be fair, has been holding that side up for the past month at least.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here, Ian. But it's 4-0 to City in this final. Like, they are going to absolutely...
Goodbye, folks!
Batter Spurs. Like, actually, we'll talk about this a bit more, but, like, what is your score prediction? Because I genuinely think City are going to batter Spurs, like, 4-0. It's going to be the Spursiest of finals.
I'm not going to go 4. I mean, it could be as high as that, but I'm going to go 3. Probably just the classic backs-to-the-wall job from Tottenham. Just trying to stay in the game for as long as they can, and maybe it's 1-0 for a long time, and then City get a couple late when Tottenham are tired. But I don't see. I mean, who's taken it? It's Chris Powell and Ryan Mason, I think, who are like the caretaker managers.
What?
Well, what they got? They haven't got a choice.
This is your first cup final in a decade or more, and you're throwing out Chris Powell and Ryan Mason to go against the most decorated manager of his generation. You are going to get fucking hooned, Spurs. Oh my god.
But it's not like they can bring in bloody George Graham, is it? Or something like that, or Jerry Francis, or Ozzy Ardiles.
Who sacks their manager before a cup final? It's insanity. You at least keep him. And if he wins the cup final, here's a pat on the back and get out the door. And if he loses the cup final, great reason to sack him. It's insane. Also, just looking at the two midfields, like, Spurs don't have anyone who can run a game from the midfield. Like, Rodrigo is going to go to town. If Phil Foden actually gets to play in this game, he's going to pick them apart. His ability to change direction and pass through the lines and every now and then just go and score a goal is he would walk into the Spurs team. Like, it's nuts. Gundogan is definitely getting a goal here because Gundogan just keeps scoring. But I can't see it. I can't see what Spurs can possibly do in this match outside of like a Son or Gareth Bale masterclass. You know, like the Inter Milan game where Bale scored a hat trick? Like, that's basically what he's going to have to do in this. Every time he gets the ball, he's going to have to beat 4 players and ping a shot into the bottom corner. And like, we're not even getting on to Hugo Lloris not being good enough to withstand a City battering in all probability. Like,
yeah, I mean, all the signs just point towards it's going to be quite an easy afternoon for City. And again, you've already said, unless it's something special from Bale or Son, you can't see it only happen. But City's selection issues is the only thing that's maybe interesting from their point of view, because Pep did change players for the League Cup, the FA Cup semi-final, and against Chelsea, and they obviously went out, and the quadruple's gone. The more important prize for them is the Champions League, which the semi-final is midweek after this League Cup final. You know, it's been a busy fixtures. How much does he play Foden's? Does he play De Bruyne's? Does he play Gundogan's? Or is he going to play a more, not that their second string's bad, but is he going to play a more, I hate to say it, sounds derogatory, second string 11 in this final?
I don't think we're going to see a second string 11. I think we're going to see Riyad Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. I definitely going to see both of them. But I mean, I think we've seen both of them live, haven't we? I've definitely seen Riyad Mahrez live. And I don't think that's a step down attacking wise. I know he loves Ferran Torres.
Riyad Mahrez was good in the game against Dortmund as well. But do you think we're going to see the sub-keeper? Because he was a bit suspect against Chelsea. I
think we may see the sub-keeper, but more than anything else, it's a question of if John Stones starts next to Ruben Diaz, because Aymeric Laporte and Ruben Diaz do not have the relationship that Stones and Diaz have. Stones and Diaz have looked like one of the best centre-back pairings City have ever had. It looks like Kompany's back at centre-back when the two of them play. But Diaz got caught out repeatedly, and the only change I see in this defence was Laporte playing next to him instead of Stones. We've seen Cancelo at right back. We've seen Mendy at left back. That's not really a weakness. I think Kyle Walker slots back into the side. I think you have to play John Stones in a cup final. I expect Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez both to play because obviously over the weekend, Sterling and Torres started, and he does like to rotate. The big question for me is if Phil Foden starts. Kevin De Bruyne has an injury. If Phil Foden doesn't start, I'm going to be absolutely furious because he's been awesome all season. And why are you not?
Yeah, but he seems to leave him for Champions League. It seems to be where he plays him.
It's so weird to have a 20-year-old that you're like hiding away.
But if he gets if he gets injured.
But I don't care. He's 20. He needs to play, so he has the chance to get injured.
He's playing Champions League.
I think he'll play in this. I think it'll be Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Foden flanking Gabriel Jesus. I don't know what Aguero's done to anger the gods at Man City, but I don't think he's
not quite fit, is he? I think that's the main thing about it. He's not fit all season. And Sterling, is Sterling playing?
No. I think Sterling played this week. I think they'll rest him for the final. He is doing some weird rotations. I mean, without getting too into it, I think we both agree. No idea what he's doing in the FA Cup semi-final. That team, he should have put out a different side. Maybe John Stones was carrying a knock. I don't know this, but
I saw an interesting thing about that, and it was by Tony Cascarino on TalkSport, and he says that he has got to play. He has got to rotate, though. He has got to put other players in, because if he gets to a situation where people do get injured and he's got to put people into a Champions League semi-final against Mbappe and Neymar, and they've not played any football.
Yeah.
I mean, and the football, unfortunately for City, they're in that situation now where the football is always going to be big games. So these players are going to have to come in and play big games. And maybe because they lost to Leeds, that forced him to kind of maybe have to play a stronger side in the Premier League and then a weaker side in the Cup. So that, I don't know.
For me, the league is won. You know the league is won.
But it is. But they won't want to lose another game and have that gap.
The chance of the quadruple, though, was something that no club has ever done. And I just think he missed a trick. I think City are so much better than Chelsea. And in that game, even their backups you could see were better. But they would have been so much better letting Foden play more, putting Stones in there at centre back, Kyle Walker at right back instead of Cancelo. Maybe even playing a false 9 and putting Foden up front.
It's clear that was always the plan. I mean, because he didn't take anybody off. I don't think he made one substitution, I think, in that Dortmund game. So he didn't give anybody off. So it was pretty obvious in his mind what the side was going to be against Chelsea. And again, quadruple though for City. If they lost this cup final and they won the Champions League, I don't think they'll really be caring about this missed opportunity of a quadruple.
No, but City still have that little chip on their shoulder where they really just love rubbing things into Man United. And to beat the treble with the quadruple would just be the ultimate weapon for them. And I mean, they've proven this week they don't care about their fans. But the ultimate weapon for their fans as well, just to beat Man United over the head with. Now, at best, it's a treble, right? At best.
So, and especially if their treble is League Cup instead of FA Cup. It's it's like Manchester United is a 9.9 and theirs is a 9.85.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it ends up being.
You don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like in this game. The news that's come out about the Super League has rocked football yesterday, and you don't know. You just don't know what the state the players' minds are going to be in. You don't know. I don't think there's going to. Is there fans in this one? I think there is, isn't there?
I believe there will be. And before we go any further about the Super League, very quickly, I just want to point out that we do have a Patreon. The details are going to be on the screen right now, and they're down in the description. Patreon membership starts from as low as £3 a month. We really appreciate all the support you give us. I need to quickly shout out Grandstand Betters, Robert Allen, Matthew Bowden, PJ Simpson, and David Stenhouse for their memberships with us. That we do give them a shout out. It's wonderful to have you guys. And there are exclusive videos on our Patreon where we do discuss the Super League. We will go into it very quickly now. But if you want to watch an in-depth discussion with me and Ian about the Super League, head over to Patreon for as low as £3 a month. You can get those videos.
Sure. So it wasn't really my in-depth thoughts on the Super. It was more like wonder what the atmosphere or the backdrops of this game is going to be played like with that news, which, well, to say it hasn't gone down well is a bit of an understatement. I mean, you could just be pretty much both sets of players and supporters booing the players from the start.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if there were protests pre-game, especially because both of these sides will be in the Super League. The players, I think it's going to be tough because there's you talk about players not paying attention to the news and stuff and getting used to that, but every single person they know will be calling them and has been calling them going, what the fuck's going on with your team? And it's like, I don't know. They didn't call me, and they definitely didn't call the players. There's no way they spoke to the players before this. So too many people would have known the truth if they'd done that. So it's I think it might be a bit of a toxic atmosphere, and it's rough to get football back with fans and them to have released this information the day fans came back into the ground.
Yeah,
it is a real slap in the face of football fans yesterday.
Yes, and as I said very eloquently on our Patreon video, a piss into the mouth of UEFA as well.
I really, really hope that was on the recorded bit. It wasn't. Okay, Ian, any final thoughts on this, or should we close out?
No, so in hindsight, you've gone for 4-0 to City, I've gone for 3-0. We think it's going to be a pretty routine win for them now. It is unfair on Spurs and their fans. They're long-suffering fans without any trophies, and this is just this seems to just be getting worse and worse the longer the season goes on. We might be completely wrong. Who knows? Spurs might shock us, but we will see. And hopefully, football just feels a bit weirder than normal, doesn't it, this week? And hopefully this game will be a good one and we can forget about all the off-the-field malarkey.
Yes, so please smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Give us your predictions below. Let us know what you think about the Super League. If you agree with it, maybe don't let us know. Or maybe do, because you'll be the first person I've spoken to ever that does.
Tell us why it's a good thing.
Thank you for watching us. Join us for all the rest of our predictions. We will see you very soon.